Did you file as like a sole proprietor at that time or a partnership, or did you get an LLC? And how did you get all of those licenses? Because that process is very confusing to me.
Okay, the question was, they noted the fact that I mentioned I had my own business and it was a home-based business. Yes, very succinctly but comprehensive as possible. I started my business. I did real estate development. My background, if you will, I'm a retired military engineer. Beyond that, I actually have a degree in civil engineering. I didn't get licensed, although I did get my engineering training initially. But as I got into it, I more and more got into real estate development, both commercial and residential development. So I started my business in 2001 just by myself, uh, as a home-based business doing consulting. And to answer your question, I looked into sole proprietor, I looked into partnership, and at the time I looked into LLC. It was still a little bit new, but it was a better way to protect myself financially, and that's from a tax standpoint as well as being sued. Plus, it was a better way to protect myself legally as well in terms of being exposed from an insurance standpoint. When you have a home-based business, what they tell you is there's certain things that you can and cannot do. You can conduct business as an individual, but they definitely don't like to have, as a home-based business, seeing clients there, because typically, whether you own the property or you rent, you don't have the type of insurance to have your home see clients in your home. So to answer your question, those were some of the considerations for me when I decided to do an LLC. If you go to the Silver Flume website, that'll give you some information, but also let me give you a couple of the resources as well. If you either talk to individuals from SCORE or you talk to individuals from the Nevada Small Business Development Center or NSBDC, they can talk you through the pros and cons. Or if you're part of the generation that likes to Google things, you can also Google pros and cons of LLC, or you can Google different ways to form your business entity, and it'll take you through the pros and cons. But that'll help you do some research on that. So, so I know that isn't the direct, certification thing, but it does relate to the certification because, as you saw, we were going to ask you how you're formed, and within that structure, who owns what. So there is a relationship there. So hopefully that was helpful. Mel.
Yes. My question is the
1 minute.
Oh,
He's going to bring the mic over because I think there's people following online.
my question is the following. I started a nonprofit. My
Okay.
nonprofit gives services. Would this be able to qualify for the certification or not?
Uh, and my answer is going to be, I'm not sure. The question was, and for those of you online as well, if I have a 501c3, for example, which is a nonprofit, is that eligible for this program? What I'm going to say is, I don't think so. But rather than me say I don't think so, I'm smart and astute enough to say, fill it out, and then someone will let you know for sure.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing I can tell you is that if you go to the let's see if I can find it here. If you go to the main programming page, I think there it talks about ownership, but I don't see that type of structure there. So the best thing to do is to fill it out, and then someone will follow up with you. Yep.
So I know folks might be confused about the consensus tracks because it's kind of new word. But would it be fair to say if their business is here or around here on the west side, they're going to be in a qualified census tract?
Yeah, the question was, if, for those of you in the room, is if you have a business that's, say, within a 2-mile radius of where we're sitting today, is it in a census tract that in all likelihood is probably a qualified census tract? What I'll say is there's probably a very good chance that it will be. When they talk about qualified census tract, what they're saying is that you're in a census tract where historically there's not been a lot, if any, economic development or community development. And so what they want to do is help businesses or draw businesses to that area. But beyond just drawing them there, They want to provide them with resources so that they can grow and sustain their business. So in short, there's probably a good chance that if you have a business that is domiciled within this general area, say a mile or two, it's probably in a qualified census tract.